The RE100 companies report now consuming just under 50% renewable electricity. This has been going up over time. Similarly, we're very interested in how the companies are procuring renewable energy. Over time, power purchase agreements have tended to be more represented in the procurement mix that RE100 sees. Right now, they deliver about 35% of the renewable electricity that these companies buy. But recently, the initiative has had growing representation and recruitment in Asia, in markets where it's more challenging to buy renewable energy. One thing that we look at in the reports is the average target year of the initiative, the year by which the companies aim to reach 100% renewable energy. This average target year has been shifting further into the future over time. It was 2030 in the 2021 annual report, and it's now 2031. And the companies that joined the initiative in the past year set an average target year of 2036. So the growing representation in challenging markets may challenge some of the other trends that we see in the increasing share of renewable energy use and the representation of PPAs in the procurement mix. Another thing I want to highlight as well is how we look at procurement types by region, and you can see just how much unbundled EAC purchasing dominates in Asia. We talk about PPAs as an important area of focus in the report. It's only in North America where they take up as significant a share of overall procurement as they do. But I want to talk as well a bit about some of the new insights that we showed in this most recent annual report and how they supported and informed the work that we did last year to update the technical criteria. So this map here shows how renewable energy is purchased across borders in Europe. That's one of the international single markets for renewable energy that RE100 recognizes, where a company can buy renewable energy that's generated in one country and claim to be using it in a different country. And what we saw here didn't really surprise us. We can see that Sweden and Norway and Italy are countries that contribute a lot of cross-border procurement of renewable energy. In Norway in particular, 85% of all the renewable energy that's purchased there is used for claims to its consumption outside of Norway. We also know that a lot of these types of purchases tend to be from old hydro plants and unbundled EAC procurement. And there's another thing I just like to point out on this map as well. There's 84% purchasing from Iceland is used for claims in the mainland. And there's no grid connection between Iceland and the mainland. So one of the things that we did last year was to revise the way that we saw the single market for renewable energy in Europe. And we did this by going back to the sort of three pillars for a single market that RE100 defines. And that's consistent regulation of the electricity sector, consistent accounting of energy attributes. So it means that across borders, utilities and suppliers recognize trade of renewable electricity and that there's consistent accounting of that in place. And of course, physical grid interconnectedness. So we took these three pillars and we implemented them in Europe to say that a single market for renewable energy in Europe is defined by countries that meet all of the three following principles. The countries in the EU single market. It's a member of AIB, which means that it issues EECS. And so what we did last year as well was introduce a 15-year facility age limit. And this limit really gets to the core of RE100's theory of change. RE100 is a campaign with a theory of change that voluntary demand for renewable electricity will accelerate the energy transition. And so the technical criteria are how we roll out that theory of change, really. And what we're saying with this limit is that for voluntary demand to accelerate the energy transition, it can focus itself better by demanding renewable energy from newly commissioned projects. We're not saying that the electricity that a hydro plant that was commissioned in the 1950s isn't renewable. What we're saying is that the voluntary market should focus its procurement on newly commissioned facilities. That's the intent of this limit, and that's how the voluntary market will better send continuous signals for renewable electricity capacity additions. And we introduced some exemptions for this limit. So if you're generating your own renewable electricity, you don't need to observe a facility age limit. Similarly, if you're buying from on-site generation or through a private wire, you don't need to observe the facility age limit. Similarly, if you sign a power purchase agreement or some other kind of project-specific supply arrangement with a newly commissioned facility that you're the original off-taker from, and it's a long-term contract, so beyond 15 years, the contract will be recognized for its lifetime. So that's everything I wanted to share with you today. I hope this was a good look at some of what RE100 showed in its last annual report and the work that we did to change the technical criteria in 2022. Thank you.